Welcome once again to Retirement Designed Differently with financial advisor Billy Voyles. He's the founder of Fundamental Wealth Designs. I'm Spike Spengel. Billy, what is on your mind this week? What do you want to do?
We're talking about the Retirement Red Light Challenge.
Nice.
So we have a series of questions that we're going to go through to see, are you green lighted for retirement? Are you in the yellow room? Or are you red light? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, do we have to, slam on the brakes hard? So folks, this is the Retirement Red Light, Green Light Challenge. At home, you can keep your own scorecard. We want to know, how do you feel about the questions I'm going to ask for Billy? And of course, as a financial advisor, he'll get you in the ballpark of the kinds of answers you should be thinking about. But you can play at home. We wanted to have a little bit of fun this week. We are still going to talk about real solutions for you, so don't go anywhere. Stick around for the entire half hour of the program. First question I think I would ask you. So red light, yellow light, or green light, ready to go. Do I think I'll be able to retire on time? What is on time, Billy? When is my on time?
That's a great question, Spike, because what timing means different for everyone. Like, what is it 62? Is it an age? Or is it, I've been at my company 30 years, I can access my pension now? Like, what does timing mean to you? And I think everybody needs to ask themselves that question in order to figure out how to answer it. I met with one client who actually, they have this philosophy around productivity. And they feel like they need to work as long as they can be a productive member of society. So he, in this instance, didn't even have an idea of like retirement was when he no longer feels like he could be a productive member of society, which is completely different than like time frame or an age or anything else. So timing can be different for everybody.
Kind of the football quarterback, if you will, saying, look, hey, if I can no longer throw the ball downfield, if I'm no longer helping the team, but right. I've never really heard it framed that way before, that he feels that he needs to work as long as they can be productive with their group and their organization. But when it comes to answering the question, red light, green light, or yellow light, can I retire on time? Do we need to start maybe thinking of different ages or numbers than our parents or grandparents did? Or can I still retire on time at 62, 64, 65?
Yeah, I absolutely do think you can, right? And it's just a matter of what's your plan, what's your assets, what are you going to spend, and the things we talk about each and every week to talk about, how is it going to look like for you versus it's not your neighbor's retirement. It's not your brother's or sister's or cousin's retirement. It's your retirement. So one thing I will say is stop comparing yourself to anyone else. Right? Everybody's got a unique situation. So whereas you can ask your neighbors and what they're doing, you're still unique and you still have a unique situation that needs to be addressed.
And when we're trying to answer on time, I think we also have to consider time horizon, how long we might be in retirement, and that's definitely a longer answer. So I'll put myself a yellow on here. I'm not exactly sure when I'm able to retire and what on time means. And that's also why I think I should sit down with somebody. The next question on here, maybe a little bit more, you can give me a direct answer. Have you, as a viewer, calculated exactly how much you're going to need per month in retirement? Red light or green light? What do you normally see when people are sitting across from you?
We see all over the place again, because there's some people that, they can answer this question. Some people don't have any clue what they even need as income. I'll ask them, and it's on our intake form, because we want people to go through a process to prepare to come in and meet with us, and it's expected expenses in retirement, because we want to know after taxes, after everything goes out, what do we need as cash on a monthly basis to keep up the same standard of living that we currently have. So it's, have you calculated how much income you need? Another thing that I'll say that you can add to this is, what is your income gap? Okay? What is your income gap is now you actually take away Social Security, because that Social Security is coming in. So you, at 65 or 67, there's a number. I'm going to get $2,500 a month or $3,000 a month. Okay. Well, if you spend $5,000 or $6,000 a month, and you only have $3,000 coming in from Social Security, you have a $2,000 or $3,000 income gap. Now we're getting somewhere when it comes to planning. Okay, now if I need $2,000 or $3,000 a month from my investments, all right, can I afford to take that amount and make sure it lasts the rest of your life? Now we're starting to get into the real preparedness for retirement.
I know you've done this once or twice, so I'm not trying to point this out to you.
Yeah.
But one of the things that you threw out there, because your voice kind of went down like this, you're like, can I figure out what that income gap is to make sure that it's going to last for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Billy. I don't think most people know, including myself, exactly how to make sure it lasts the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I know that I can fill the income gap with that $2,000 or $3,000 from whatever my investments are, but what I don't know is how I can make it last forever. How exactly do you work that out, or what kind of tools do you use?
Yeah, so do you know what I call that uncertainty, Spike?
Me not knowing how to do a retirement plan?
Job security.
Yeah, yes.
So the uncertainty that you have out there wondering, is this, am I going to be able to generate this $2,000 or $3,000 a month the rest of my life? That's exactly what we do every single day, inside and out, with our clients, is creating plans with them, creating investment structures around making sure that that money is going to last the rest of their life. So a little tongue-in-cheek there, but that's that uncertainty.
A little sarcasm at the expense of your host, but I can take it. I can take it. But no, seriously, it's why the firm probably is called Fundamental Wealth Designs. These things for you are fundamental, but sometimes I think you need to teach it literally to the client sitting across from you, right?
Absolutely. And so we actually came up with fundamental. It's from the word fundament, which is Greek, which means foundation. And the foundation for your retirement is income, because you need income in retirement to spend. You've worked 20, 30, 40 years to build up this nest egg, to build up these assets that you need to live off of in retirement. And you need to create a foundational income. We talk about it. Whether that's absolutely guaranteed or whether it's structured in a way that gives you confidence. There's lots of different ways to approach it. One of the designations I hold is Retirement Income Certified Professional. And that was a series of classes that focused in on a variety of different income strategies within retirement. And why we employ those different strategies is because, again, every client's different. We're different than a lot of advisors, but every client is also differently, which that also plays into the concept retirement designed differently. Your retirement has to be designed specifically for you.
And what we can do literally for our viewers here today is get you started on your own fundamental wealth design. It is no cost to you. All you got to do is call the phone number you see right now down on the bottom of the screen, or you can scan the QR code with your camera function on your smartphone. You just point it at the QR code. It'll take you right over to Billy's website there, where you can get started and schedule your own appointment. But get your own fundamental wealth design. We're going to come back with more of the retirement red light and green light challenge. So far, I think I got 2 yellow lights. I don't know how well I'm doing. When we come back, how exactly do you withdraw, and how do you stress test your own retirement? Red light and green light when we get back with Billy Voyles right after this.
Changing from now being an entrepreneur and running our own business and working with clients, it's challenging, but that's what makes it fun, right? If you woke up and did the same exact thing every day, made a widget, and then the next day you make another widget, and the next day you make another widget, this really, every day is a new day. And every client, all their plans are going to be different. They're going to be designed specifically for them, because you can't create a cookie cutter plan today that's going to fit everybody. That's not how it works. In order for it to be the best, it has to be tailored specifically to them. Meeting with people is fantastic. We love doing events. We do events all over the Twin Cities. I love speaking in front of people and educating, providing people education for their retirements. I enjoy putting the plans together and knowing that it'll set them on the right path that they need to be on for retirement.
Welcome back to Retirement Design Differently with Billy Voyles. He's a financial advisor and the founder of Fundamental Wealth Designs. I'm Spike Spengel. Today we're taking your retirement red light and green light challenge. You can score yourself at home. So far I've got a couple of yellow lights. Do we know the most tax efficient order to take investments out? What do we mean by tax efficient? When you get, I think that's a hard red light for me. Yeah. What do you mean tax efficient order?
And we're getting into a little jargon here, right? Like when you talk about tax efficient, there's different buckets of money, tax now, tax later, tax never. So what does this really mean? And it's, how do you structure your withdrawals in retirement to be the most efficient? And typically, we're going to go in the order of tax now, right? Which is your brokerage account money, your checking account, your savings account money. Then we're going to go into the tax-deferred money. And then we're going to go into the tax never bucket, right? Because we want that money to grow tax-free as long as possible. But this is very confusing, right? Because it's like, A, that doesn't always hold true. B, every one of your accounts is different. Your longevity is different. Your current tax structures are different. So I think yellow light's going to be for a lot of people out there, because until you have real clarity around it, it's going to be tough to really decide what your efficient order is going to be in retirement. And it doesn't all have to be in one bucket for 1 year either. So It's a very interesting question.
A few of those I understand.
Yeah.
Tax now, let's say you've got a 9-month CD, you're trying to do things like create income. You've got your investment accounts that maybe you've chosen on your own, so they weren't inside a 401k. So those would be your tax now, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Your tax later, the 401k or 403b or 457, stuff that we've put into accounts, you get to subtract from your taxes that year. The tax never, well, I want that. Where's the tax never accounts?
Yeah. And it's tax never again, right? We're always taxed on something. Like, actually, there's one thing that is probably the most unique investment that is not taxed on going in or coming out, and that's your HSA. So if you're not maxing out, if you have eligibility to contribute to an HSA plan and you're not maxing out the contribution to your HSA, you should start there. That is the #1 place to start chalking away money.
HSA being
a health savings account.
There you go.
So great, thank you for pointing that out, because again, we get stuck in the acronyms. But your health savings account is the best because it goes in tax deferred and it comes out tax free for qualified medical expenses. The unfortunate thing is we are going to use all of that money and then some for medical expenses at some point in retirement. So that's the first place to spend money. But the tax never again is Roth IRAs. Sometimes life insurance strategies can actually fit into this. And again, that's about being a holistic planner. We can take a deep dive into your life insurance to figure out, should you keep that whole life plan you've had for the last 20 or 30 years with XYZ company? We run into that a lot. So the tax never bucket, a lot of times what we talk about as tax is the Roth IRA. And whether we're doing a Roth conversion or we're doing ongoing contributions to a Roth, that's that tax never again. So you pay tax now, but you're able to get it into a bucket that has tax-free growth and distributions for the rest of your life.
And the Roth as well, I also want to say, might be a little bit of a jargon alert.
Sure.
I know that we've talked about it for a couple of years. I know you talk about it at live events and clearly in the office. But is the Roth conversion or a Roth at all usually something that you're introducing to a client? Or are you seeing people come into your office who actually have started Roth accounts?
Both. And the people that come in they're actually bringing us the question, and then they're basically asking the question, should I start doing Roth conversions? And there are some immediate needs to do the planning now. So there's a couple things on the horizon when it comes to tax law changes. So in 2026, the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, as of today, is set to expire, which means our tax brackets will go up about 2 to 4% per bracket. And we could also lose our standard deduction. So for the last several years, most of us have been enjoying a very large standard deduction, about $15,000 for individuals, about $30,000 for couples. That could get cut in half. So if our brackets increase by 2 to 3, 4% per bracket, and we lose $10,000, $15,000 in deductions, our effective tax rate is going to go up 3 or 4% in just 2 years. So we only have 2 years left at today's tax rates, which are some of the lowest in history.
I'm going to speak for myself here and say, do I know the most tax efficient order to take for my retirement accounts? I'm going to say that's a hard no. And if you're watching at home, if you were following along with Billy there, this is huge. The tax rates changing. I didn't realize that because I've talked with a lot of folks. We realize they're sunsetting, the tax rates are sunsetting, unless Congress acts. We don't know which way it's going to go. But then coupling in that the standard deduction could also be cut in half.
Yeah.
And then for those who are on Social Security, what this means is that will increase what your tax burden is on your Social Security. So folks, if you don't know the answer to this question yourself, please make sure you speak with a financial advisor. Another one, though, you have here is, have I stress tested now my retirement income plan for retirement? Come on, Bill. First, I had to do the math. Now you want me to stress test my own plan? That's a red light for me. I don't have that one. But what do you mean by stress testing?
And stress testing is a part of our analysis period. So when you come into our office, our first meeting is a foundation meeting, and that's really a get to know you, right? We sit down, we have a cup of coffee with each other, we talk about your goals, maybe some target dates in the future, we walk through your assets and your plan, and then we go through a period, if you agree to move forward from there, through the analysis period. And our analysis is taking a deep dive into your portfolio and analyzing the stress test. So if we go through another 9/11, if we go through another 2008, we go through another 2020 in COVID, what is your portfolio exposed to, and are you comfortable with that, right? A lot of times we find that portfolios are exposed to 28, 30, up to 40% loss in the event, a recession hits or one of those bad market timings hit. Well, can you withstand that in your stomach? And then can your plan actually withstand that big of a hit in retirement? So that's where the way we stress test it. And then we have a conversation with clients to figure out, is that okay for you? Could you withstand that? Could your plan actually withstand that type of hit? A lot of times the answer is no. And it starts with the clients. They don't want, if they have $1 million, they don't want to look at a $700,000 account in 6 months or 8 months. That scares them to death. So they really want to take steps to take some of that risk off the table. And how we do that is providing purpose to the asset, which we talk about nearly every week, this whole concept of providing purpose behind the asset.
Right. It's interesting because we definitely want to make sure that there's a certain amount of growth. Because on a previous program you did called Ramp Up Your Retirement, how exactly can you ramp it up if you feel like you're behind? Because many Americans feel like they're behind. Is that we also need to make sure, though, that we're getting a certain amount of growth. So that balancing act of I want to protect, I want to make sure I've got the assets protected in a certain way, got to make sure that there's growth. Stress testing that is probably got to be, well, I'm guessing it's a numbers game, right?
Yeah.
How exactly do you stress test it? Can you kind of maybe explain it for our viewers? How do you stress test the growth of the portfolio?
Yeah, and we have a couple different softwares that we use, and we run every single one of your holdings. You could have 100, you could have 200 holdings. We're going to run the entire portfolio through these softwares and scenarios in order to spit out different answers for us, because what we really want to do through this process is educate you. We want to educate you on what you have so we can empower you to participate in your decisions going forward. If you're not fully educated on what your current portfolio looks like, what your needs are going to be in retirement, then you're not empowered to make really decisions on how that's going to impact you. And we believe in education and entertainment. We talk about it in our workshops all the time. Educate and entertain. That's what this show is about. Educate you and entertain you out there on all things retirement.
Right. Billy, on the bottom of the screen right now, we've got you get your complimentary retirement design. But something we were talking about on the break is it's not just if you're getting started that we can get you going on your own retirement design, but we can also do that portfolio review. So what exactly are you reviewing in the portfolio? Are you just taking a look at the risk in the investments?
Yeah, as a part of our process, right? Let me just walk through our process with you for a minute here. If you click on that QR code and schedule an appointment, or if you call that number at the bottom, 888-379-1846, you'll go to our team and they will schedule just the first step, right? This is not agreeing to become a client. I don't know that you're the right fit for us yet either, right? So you're not saying yes to becoming a client. You're just saying yes to the first step. The first step in our process is a foundation meeting. It's about an hour long, and we'll sit and we'll get to know each other. You have your list of whether or not we're the right fit for you. I have a very simple list, Spike. It's two things. One, I have to be able to help you. We as a firm have to be able to help you significantly improve your financial situation in your retirement. Second is we have to like you. Okay? Life's too short to work with people that you're not enjoying doing business with, right? So those two simple rules. If we can help you and we can like you, then you pass our test. And I'm sure you're going to have tests for us, as you should. After that foundation meeting, then we're going to walk through the analysis period. And then we go through a deep dive of your portfolio. But we also are going to look at your income sources. We're going to look at your Social Security to figure out the best timing for your Social Security. We're going to look at your pensions. We see a lot of mistakes in pension payout options, right? So we're going to look at what is the optimal pension payout for you when it comes to your income plan. We're going to also look at your housing situation, right? If you have rental houses and rental incomes, items. What are we doing with those? Like, there's real estate enters the equation too. So we look at the entire scenario, and then we get back together to present our recommendations. And we take 2 to 3 weeks to prepare our plans, because you deserve the time necessary to design a plan specific for you.
That's a portfolio review, and that's what you can do right here. You can call that phone number down on the bottom of the screen. Your retirement design differently means getting you a retirement design. And if you feel that you've had one or that you have many of the pieces in place, then let us do a portfolio review. It is no cost to you. More of the retirement red light and green light challenge when we get back, and you might need a financial advisor when we get back right after this message.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Retirement Design Differently with Billy Voyles. All right, this is one of our favorite parts of the show. You might need a retirement advisor if... What do we need this week, Billy?
You might need an advisor if you're running a bunch of red lights here as we talk about this. If you're checking, if you're marking your own score at home and you feel like you have a lot of yellow lights and a lot of red lights and you don't have green lights entering retirement, maybe it's time to speak to someone about it.
Green lights, answers for yes. If you're not sure about some of the things we're talking about here today, we've talked about stress testing your portfolio. Do you know exactly when you can time retirement, and can you retire at that age that you want to? Longevity, some of the other red lights and yellow lights that we're worried about. But I think one of the questions I'd also want our viewers at home to think of for themselves, red light or green light, have you coordinated your will, your trust, your estate planning with a trusted advisor? Why is this so important to you? Again, it doesn't sound like it's just about investments.
No, it's not just about investments. And it is, like, the first question, maybe even before that, is do you have one to begin with? Because we run into a lot of situations where people just haven't got around to it yet. That's what they say. I just haven't got around to it. And it is a relatively simple process, and we leverage partners in the area to help you with your estate planning needs. And we provide some direction as far as like what we think might be beneficial to you. And then you go off and you meet with them and walk through it. But then we have to tidy it back up, right? Your beneficiaries have to be in line, right, with what your estate plan is. If your trust needs to be the beneficiary, that needs to be the case across all accounts. There's a lot of operational things that need to happen in order to make sure that even if you have a trust and you didn't title your accounts properly, it's not going to work the way it's intended. So that's one of the things we want to walk through with people to make sure it's built that way.
Which should come first, in your humble opinion? Speaking with a financial advisor about what you want to do with your estate? Or should the viewers out there contact an estate planning attorney and say, well, these are my assets, these are the kids, these are the heirs, do you think I need a trust? Do I need a will? Where do you think it's a little more comfortable for folks to start?
It all depends on the situation, and some things driving decision-making, right? Some things in the back of your mind, and whether it's I need to get my estate planning done or I need to get my finances in order. So decide for yourself, really, because I don't think there is a right answer to that. I think it's inherent with sometimes someone would just went through the death of a family member and they've gone through a horrible probate process. And now they want to get their estate planning done before their financial planning, and that's okay. So it's not necessary. And this is a story, unfortunate story. I had a client come in, and her brother passed away in Texas. So several states away, and had no will, no trust, no estate plan whatsoever, and some significant assets. She happened to be his lone surviving sister and the closest relative, right? So she is sort of privy to the estate, if you will. But it's been 18 months, and they've been paying for costs out of pocket and trying to settle, and she's the executor, and it's 18 months later and they still haven't seen a dime because it's still going through probate and they're still paying tens of thousands of dollars to settle all this out.
And I'm going to hit you on jargon alert again.
Yeah.
Probate, please explain it. Maybe you've heard it before, but first of all, one jargon is he died intestate, meaning not having a will or an estate plan. But what exactly is probate, again, for the viewers?
So probate is basically dealing with the courts to settle out the estate after someone passes away. And if you have a will, what a will does is it basically directs probate, provides directions. So if I gave you an IKEA dresser without directions, there's no way you're putting it together, right?
Not at all.
You need directions to actually put it together. It's still going to take you 2-3 hours, but at least now you have directions that'll be put together as intended at the end of it, right? Probate's the same way. If you have a will, it'll tell probate what to do. So it'll speed up the process and it'll make sure it's right. But you still have to go through probate. A trust and other things are ways to avoid it. But again, these is all the complicated things. And again, as we go through these red light, yellow light challenges, if you have any questions on your retirement, no matter what they may be, right? If it's about investments, if it's about Social Security, if it's about taxes, if it's about your old life insurance plan, that is why, as comprehensive financial advisors, that is why our clients have been ending up choosing us at the end of the day, because we are comprehensive. We cover all the bases in retirement. Income planning is paramount to a successful retirement. Taxes. I know you're all concerned about taxes out there because you come to our workshops and you express the concerns you have around taxes going forward. And they are changing. There is a ton of urgency that we need to sort of have around tax planning now rather than later. And then investments. We have a bunch of folks that come in and they're just not comfortable picking their own investments. So they want to partner with an investment strategist that can properly allocate their investments the right way. So again, if you're out there and you're wondering, you know, I'm just not certain that I can retire. I'm just not sure that I'm going to take the right withdrawal order. I'm not sure if I need a will or a trust. I know you're out there with these questions and we're here to help. So I also know you probably have your cell phone very near to you, because we all do at all times now. It's unfortunate. But pick up that cell phone and give us a call. We have our team standing by in order to schedule a call or an appointment at one of our offices. The number is 888-379-1846. Schedule a call with me or one of our other advisors, and we'll be able to dive into your particular situation to get you a retirement designed just for you.
Thank you so much, Billy Voyles, financial advisor, for playing the Retirement Red Light and Green Light Challenge. I got mostly red lights, a few yellow lights, but I think that can be even more dangerous going into retirement. Are you going into it like a yellow light? You're not sure if you should hit the brakes, you're not sure if you should accelerate, and you don't know if it's going to be safe on the other side. If that's you, call the phone number down on the bottom of the screen so you can meet with Billy Voyles and the team here of Fundamental Wealth Designs. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.